Hello everyone, my name is Catherine DeWalt, and if you're watching this video, it means I am your child's English teacher. I was recently married, so if my voice or face seemed familiar, but you're not placing my name correctly, I was Miss Miller last year, but have just recently celebrated my 1-year anniversary. The point of this video is for you to get to know me as a teacher and kind of my goals for my students. So, I am a product of the boarding school environment. Even though I had classes on Saturday every week, I loved boarding school and I loved being in school so much that I decided to be a boarding school English teacher. After boarding school, I went to Lafayette College in Easton, Pennsylvania, and had a degree in English and history with a minor in philosophy. I then continued my education, in case you aren't getting the vibe right now. I love school. And I am pursuing my master's in English literature from Middlebury College, which is up in Vermont. And that's now the state that I call home. It's where my parents are and where I'll be spending Thanksgiving. I am not as important as the class, though, and especially what I'm trying to give your students. My version of English class is, even though I would love for every student to want to be an English teacher and to love English the most, I know that's not realistic. So instead of trying to force them into loving texts, what I aim to do is to give them tools that will help them no matter what profession they want to go to. Whether they want to be an engineer or a doctor or a professional basketball player, I want to give your child the tools to make them more successful in that area. And for me, those tools are three main things. Can we critically speak? Can we critically read? And can we critically write? So in terms of critically speaking, we do have a lot of graded conversations in this class. Graded conversations or presentations just see if we can stand up in front of our classmates. Can we slow down when we notice we're speaking too quickly? Can we get to the point when we know that we're running out of time and we're losing people's attention? We have presentations and debates about once a marking period, but even more often, and that we'll get to even more in the weeks to come, are graded Harkness conversations. Harkness is a funny word that is beloved by pedagogical tools everywhere. And Harkness is essentially the saying developed in New England boarding schools of a graded conversation. And the goal of a Harkness is that it's completely dependent on student participation and focus. So between 10 to 20 minutes, I will time my students and I will not speak at all. I cannot give them more questions to answer, and I cannot answer their questions. I cannot correct a student if they're wrong, and I cannot slow down the conversation if I think it's going in the wrong direction. Instead, I summarize at the end of every Harkness, but is 100% dependent on students to talk through the text together. There's a complex grading method for Harkness conversations, which I can show you guys if you ask for it, but for the sake of limited screen time, I'm not going to do that right now. We also have critical reading skills. And to be a critical reader, it means you need to be an active reader. An active reader is someone who annotates their novel. So every piece of literature that I give my students, whether it's novels, essays, or poems, they have to annotate it. They have to write down their questions in the book. They have to star something that they think is important or underline words that they think they can use for a quote. To be an active reader means you're more engaged with the text. It means you're slowing down and really thinking about what's to come. And it helps all of my students when it comes to in-class essays or pop quizzes or all of those other things they come to love. Finally, speaking of in-class essays, the biggest thing at St. James is to become a strong critical writer. And one of the big changes in third form compared to second form or middle school is that we no longer do any type of summary in our essays. Instead, every essay the student is expected to write has to have an argument in it. It has to answer the prompt and also show a unique point of view. There is no summary in our essays. And it's that concept that right now we're working on the most because it's such a big change for some of us. There are a lot of skills and tools we use to become better writers. We have small assignments in class and we have large assignments back at home. And they get a lot of feedback from me on a tool called turnitin.com, which is where all of the expositional essays will be turned into. And I tell my students, It takes me anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes to grade an essay, which means I'm expecting them to look at the annotations and the corrections I make to their paper because it's the best tool for them to become better writers. And as you guys know, it's really difficult to escape speaking, reading, and writing. That's all I wanted to do today. I just wanted you to see who I am and my goals for your child. If you have any questions or any concerns or anything that you want to speak to me about, we can always set up a one-on-one conversation via Teams, or you can just email me if you're curious about what a tika tika is. You should ask your student what a tika tika is because they need to know by now. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Feel free to email me. My email is cdewalt@stjames.edu. And I hope I get the chance to see you all as soon as possible. Thank you so much for being my ally and helper and a support system to the students as we go through fundamentals of literature. Bye.